In the heart of the 1960s, four young musicians converged in London, destined to create a rock and roll legend. A time of cultural revolution, the swinging 60s, where music was a vehicle for change and the guitar, a tool for rebellion. The city was abuzz with the sounds of rock, pop, and blues, the air thick with anticipation for what was yet to come. Enter Robert Plant, a golden-haired vocalist with a voice that could shake the heavens. Jimmy Page, a guitar virtuoso who wielded his instrument like a sorcerer's wand. John Paul Jones, the quiet genius on bass and keyboards. And John Bonham, the thunderous drummer with a rhythm as steady as a heartbeat. They were disparate souls, each with their unique flavor of music, yet when they played together, it was as if the universe conspired to create a symphony that would redefine music. They weren't always Led Zeppelin, though. Page and Jones were seasoned session musicians, Plant and Bonham, local boys from the West Midlands, each honing their skills in various bands before fate brought them together. Their first encounter wasn't inside a fancy recording studio, but in a small room in London's Chinatown. It was there that the four of them jammed for the first time, the raw energy and chemistry between them palpable. The air vibrated with their collective sound, signaling the birth of something monumental. From that first jam session sprung the formation of the iconic lineup. The band was initially christened the New Yardbirds, a nod to Page's previous band. But it was a name that was short-lived. They soon rebranded to Led Zeppelin, a moniker suggested by The Who's drummer Keith Moon, who predicted their venture would go down like a lead balloon. Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, and John Bonham formed Led Zeppelin, a name that would become synonymous with musical innovation. Their journey had just begun, and little did they know, they were about to take the world on an unprecedented musical odyssey. Led Zeppelin was not just another rock band. They were pioneers, blending blues, folk, and psychedelic rock. So how did they shape this unique sound? It all started with their diverse influences. Each member brought something different to the table. Jimmy Page, with his background in session work and love for the blues, was the driving force behind the band's heavy sound. Robert Plant, a fan of American blues and folk, brought a raw and emotional edge to their music. John Paul Jones, a seasoned studio musician, provided the band's complex and innovative arrangements, while John Bonham's thunderous drumming gave Led Zeppelin its rhythmic backbone. These influences were evident in their self-titled debut album. Released in 1969, Led Zeppelin broke new ground. It was a bold fusion of hard rock, blues, and psychedelic music, tearing down the boundaries of what was considered possible in rock and roll. Songs like Dazed and Confused and Communication Breakdown showcased the band's heavy riff-driven sound, while tracks like Babe I'm Gonna Leave You and Your Time Is Gonna Come revealed their folk and blues roots. This album wasn't just a collection of songs, it was a statement of intent, a declaration of the band's musical vision. Critics at the time may not have understood it, but fans did. They connected with the music, propelling the album to the top 10 in both the UK and US charts. But Led Zeppelin didn't stop there. They continued to experiment, to push the boundaries of their music. Each subsequent album expanded their sonic palette, incorporating elements of Eastern music, reggae, funk, and more. They refused to be pigeonholed, constantly evolving their sound while staying true to their roots. So, what was the result of this relentless pursuit of musical innovation? A discography that has stood the test of time, inspiring countless musicians and reshaping the landscape of rock and roll. This was the start of a unique sound that would change the face of rock music. With the release of their fourth album, Led Zeppelin was about to make history. Entering the scene in November 1971, Led Zeppelin IV became the testament to the band's evolving sound, a fusion of hard rock and folk that was unlike anything that had come before. This album was a departure from the norm, a bold statement in a world of music that was still trying to define itself. The centerpiece of Led Zeppelin IV is undoubtedly Stairway to Heaven, a song that has since become synonymous with the band itself. It's a composition that takes listeners on a journey, from the tranquil opening notes of the acoustic guitar to the electrifying guitar solo that marks its climax. With its mystic lyrics and progressive structure, Stairway to Heaven is a masterpiece that has stood the test of time, forever etched in the annals of rock history. But Stairway to Heaven wasn't the only gem in this treasure trove. Black Dog, Rock and Roll, and Going to California are just a few of the other tracks that showcase the band's versatility and musical prowess. Each song on the album was a testament to the band's unique ability to blend different musical styles into a cohesive and captivating whole. And then, there's the album cover. Shrouded in mystery and symbolism, the cover featured a rustic painting of an elderly man carrying a bundle of sticks on his back, set against the backdrop of a crumbling wall. This image, juxtaposed with the inner sleeve's mystical tarot-inspired illustration, further added to the album's enigmatic appeal. The impact of Led Zeppelin IV was immediate and profound. It catapulted the band into the stratosphere of rock legends, cementing their status as one of the most influential bands of the 20th century. The album's success wasn't just measured in sales, though it sold millions, but in its lasting influence on the generations of musicians and music lovers that followed. Led Zeppelin IV was not just an album, it was a musical masterpiece. It was a testament to the band's fearless creativity, their unyielding desire to push boundaries, and their unwavering commitment to their craft. And it remains to this day a touchstone for all that rock music can and should be. With fame came controversy and challenges. That's the story of many rock and roll bands, and Led Zeppelin was no exception. As their popularity skyrocketed, so did their indulgence in the excessive lifestyle that often accompanies rock stardom. The limelight brought with it an array of temptations and trials, from wild parties to run-ins with the law. Imagine the scene, the pulsating energy of a post-concert party, the electric hum of a crowd high on music and adrenaline. These were the playgrounds of Led Zeppelin. The parties were legendary, a whirlwind of hedonistic excess. These were the days of champagne showers, televisions thrown out of hotel windows, and fast, shiny cars. Yet, in the midst of the revelry, there was a darker undercurrent. The rock and roll lifestyle was as volatile as it was glamorous, and it took its toll on the band members. The most poignant manifestation of this excess was the tragic loss of John Bonham, the band's drummer and backbone. Bonham, known for his thunderous drumming style, was a force of nature on stage. But off-stage, he wrestled with the demons of addiction. His untimely death in 1980 was a devastating blow, not only to the band but to the rock and roll world as a whole. It was a stark reminder of the fragility that often lurked behind the facade of invincibility that rock stars portrayed. The impact of Bonham's death on Led Zeppelin was profound. It marked the end of an era, a time when the band was at its zenith. They decided not to continue without him, a testament to the irreplaceable role he played in their sound and their brotherhood. The untimely demise of John Bonham marked the end of an era for Led Zeppelin. Yet, despite the trials and tribulations, the music of Led Zeppelin endures. Their legacy is a testament to their talent, their innovation, and their sheer determination to push the boundaries of what rock and roll could be. It's a story of brilliance, excess, and ultimately resilience. Even though Led Zeppelin disbanded in 1980, their legacy endures. Their music became a blueprint for countless artists who followed. From the heaviest of metal bands to the most ethereal of indie artists, their influence is everywhere. Musicians continue to dissect their records, looking for that magic spark that made Led Zeppelin an enduring phenomenon. And it's not just in the studio where their presence is felt. On stages around the world, tribute acts and cover bands keep the Zeppelin spirit alive, delivering electrifying performances of their timeless hits. These bands from all walks of life are a testament to Led Zeppelin's universal appeal and enduring legacy. They are the carriers of the torch, passing on the Zeppelin sound to new generations. So while the original band may have called it quits decades ago, their music continues to reverberate, inspire, and captivate. Their influence on music and culture is immeasurable. Led Zeppelin's place in the annals of rock history is undeniable. Their revolutionary sound, a fusion of blues, hard rock, and psychedelic experimentation, not only defined a generation but continues to resonate in the present day. In 1995, their monumental contribution was recognized when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, cementing their status as one of the most influential bands of all time. The band's music continues to live on, not locked away in dusty vinyl collections, but thriving in the digital age. Their tracks have found a home on streaming platforms, reaching new audiences and rekindling the love of longtime fans. Re-releases of their classic albums have only further demonstrated their timeless appeal. From their inception in the late 60s to their enduring presence today, Led Zeppelin's impact on the music industry is immeasurable. This is the Epic Odyssey of Led Zeppelin, a band whose music will continue to rock the world for generations to come.